One of the things that has been lost in the church is how often do you hear other people praying out loud? Well, first of all, I do think it's important to show that God gives each local church an enormous amount of flexibility. I mean, you can do a lot of different things in the DNA of your church, but there's 4 main ingredients that if one of these is left out, it's like the recipe didn't take. Number 1 is they fed on the apostles' teaching. It was a learning environment. The word disciple means pupil, student. So there was a heavy emphasis on teaching and people were hungry to learn. Second of all, it says that they were devoted to the fellowship. And the word fellowship doesn't mean they liked grabbing coffee. It means there was a sense of deep commitment to being together, that it wasn't just nominal. It was very important, prioritized in their life. The next thing is breaking of bread, which we think of normally communion, but even more than communion, I think, is the idea of confession. Because anytime you take communion, Scripture says that you need to search your own heart and don't take it unless you have done your business, your work with God. So that early church was often confessing sin to one another, struggle, keeping short accounts with one another and with God. Confession was a big part of the life of the church. And then finally, prayer. They were praying together. One of the things that has been lost in the church is how often do you hear other people praying out loud, and not just for the offering. So there was a culture of prayer where they were constantly praying together. So you take those 4 things and you look at the average church. Are they serious about teaching? Are they serious about getting together often? Are they serious about confessing their sins to one another? And are they serious about praying together?
Yeah.
Those are better indicators than the number of people that went on a mission trip.
Sure.
So let's get the scorecard right.
Yeah, especially the prayer and confession. Like, I feel like that's when we sometimes want to pull our punches on. We don't want to be as like upfront with that. I got a text just before this webinar started from a member in my small group. We've been doing this praying through scripture at the end of every meeting time. And, I've had to ask someone each week ahead of time, like, hey, would you do it this week? And it's kind of gotten smoother and smoother as we've gone on. But this person just texted me and said, hey, could I do the prayer this week? Like, I really want to be a part of that. And so I think just that you put the invitation out there, you make opportunities, like those things are going to fall into place.
Yeah.